So the Atma is our reality, and yet we need a workshop to learn about it. We need books to read it. We need gurus to sit with, to search, first of all, for real gurus and then to sit with them for years and years. What's the deal? You know? The reason for that is that our mind was meant to serve us, to connect us to Atma, to connect us to that light, but it has become the master. It says, I am the be all and end all of your existence. And so it is obscuring the Atma from us in our default way. And often it takes considerable effort, at least in one lifetime, we need to put pretty steady effort, to unobscure the Atma from us. So the sun is always shining, but we do not see it. Why? Because of the clouds. Simple, In the same way, the sun of the Atma is always shining, but we cannot see it because of the cloud of the thoughts, the mind, and the mind's identity. Like if you go searching, you end up with, this is who I am. And it's a pretty limited, the jiva. And sometimes the jiva will wear holy clothes and tell you, I am it, So the jiva can have three kinds of delusions. Three kinds of, I call them, like that word trip that you do with weed. I learned that word when I came to California. Oh, I had this beautiful experience of, there was a movie being made and I was in it, and there was a weed smoking director. And he was standing there very standoffish. Well, this is a spiritual project. I shoot movie stars, And then I was speaking and his jiva thawed out and his atma started listening. So when the recording ended, he groped for something, took out a rolled weed cigarette and offered it to me. I was so touched because that was his ultimate. And I took it and I have it on my altar. Yeah. Because it was given with such bhakti, it was just... And then my husband says, why on the altar? Because I said, because it's weed. I don't get to smoke it. I don't want to smoke it. But I can have fun with it, and it's a real good story to tell. So something shone within him, and he was just recording my conversation with someone. Anyway, so the mind can play a role. A mirror is supposed to pretty honestly reflect what it is seeing. But imagine if the mirror takes the reflection and does its own number on it with its own thoughts, memories, traumas, ideas, beliefs, and then something comes out of the mirror and takes a life of its own. That's the jiva part of us. That's our mind. So instead of a tool, it becomes the author of a false identity. So the jiva in itself is not a pathology, but we do have a samsaric jiva, a jiva who is fully identified with the body. If it fears its end when the body is ending, every slash and every scrap on the body is a scrap on itself. And depending on how the mind is feeling, up and down, good or bad, the self has no option but to have this roller coaster of emotions. And I think we've all been there. Prior to finding some spiritual anchors, we were all like this, weren't we? We're all like that's how the system is, for better or for worse. So So there's scriptural wisdom which is talking and it's guiding us. And one of the very important Upanishads to understand the nature of the mind is the Kena Upanishad, Kena. It's a slim Upanishad and it's a very important Upanishad if you're interested. And it has simple verses. I'm going to read you some two or three key ones or sing you some ones because they're asking us to think. So if you close your eyes, I will chant to you. Om Kene Shitam Patati Preshitam Manaha Kena Prana Prathama Preti Yuktaha Kene Shitam Vajam Imam Vadanti Chakshuhu Shotram Kaudevo Yunakti. And the question is, think about it, dear ones. What power causes the mind to move? What power directs the breath, the speech, the senses? And keep your eyes closed. Shotrasya shotram manasa manodat vachoha vacham sau pranasya pranaha chakshuscha chakshurati muccha dhiraha Peta samala lokatmrita bhavanti. It is the Atma, which is the ear behind the ear. It is the Atma, which is the mind behind the mind. It is the Atma, which is the eye behind your eye. Those who realize this Atma go beyond death, which means you go beyond the body. Welcome back. So the Upanishads are encouraging us to contemplate upon this. And it's actually a way of self-inquiry, because if you hear music, say you're enjoying Bach or something, and you listen and you wonder, who is hearing? So the music is entering my ear and it's going in my brain and then it's being processed by my nervous system. But who is really aware of this? And you hit upon it that there is really no hearer here. There is only Atma. Does that make sense? Is that exciting to think about? I mean, Julia, you're seeing me, right? But you're not really seeing me, because what you're seeing is an image of me. And what you're seeing is an image of me that is inverted back in your cornea. You've never seen me. You've only seen an image. But there is a greater power in you that is making sense of all of this. Everything is bits and bytes of information. And particles are becoming waves, and waves are becoming particles in nanoseconds. And yet this whole universe is dancing and creating a mirage of continuity. Have you ever touched me? Thank you for giving me your love on the back. But were you touching me, or were they sensations of touch rising to your brain? And something was being calibrated there, Look at how this machine is working. Then who is the real power, the real consciousness? This is really interesting. And yet this mind is so smart and so intelligent, and what an equipment, and yet this mind can be bandhu, a friend, or a ripu, an enemy. When it obscures, it's an enemy. When it reveals, it's a friend. The same mind, the same ego. Who was it? Was it Ulysses who said, The ego is a friend too. It needs to be converted into a friend. Weren't you saying something like that? Yeah. Yes. Why do the great souls, the Paramatmas, ask of you to evolve, to step up? Who are they asking? They are asking these same minds because we are capable of more. We just get so involved in our material lives. We get so conditioned in the material dream of existence. We just don't step up. We just don't bother to unfog the inner window. But it is in this very mind that the Atma reveals itself. So, what is the benefit of Atma? So, have you ever expected some important auntie or aunt or uncle of yours to visit and you don't know exactly which day they'll visit? So, you keep your living room pretty clean? Because they may, or your mother in law or something like that. You keep your china polished and you keep everything clean. You're in a preparation mode because you never know when they'll show up. In the same way, we spiritual people are asked to keep our minds scrubbed clean and pure because one day the Atma may just show up. And then the mind turned inward will be able to have a sakshatkar, an actual darshan, an actual experience of that complete truth. I'm sure in this audience, no matter what tradition you follow, you've had that experience. Many of you, may I see hands? I wouldn't be surprised. Raise it, take it, own it. Yeah, oh, look at that. How blessed am I to be in this audience? You've had this right there in that grungy mind of ours, right? So we will no longer call it grungy. I think we have a supersonic instrument. We're just not using it wisely enough. We are using, because if you don't know how to use your, what is it called? TV remote, and you keep putting the wrong channels, like, what is it? The sale channel where they keep selling things. Infomercial channel. All those awful rings they sell. Have you seen that? Atrocious rings. Who buys them? I was like, look at that. Oh, dear me. Okay. What if you cannot get out of that channel? After a while, you will be buying those rings because it convinces you that that's your only reality. You buy that ruby ring or it's over for you. That's how we live. We're in the mall of samsara buying that atrocious ruby ring. And then we have nots and haves with the ruby ring. So you got to know how to change the channel from samsara to atma, from worldly roles to your soul role. Being readers of books, cultivators of good ideas is just the most splendid thing you can do for yourself. And my goal in this workshop is to remind you of this possibility of how to use your mind. When I was a young person, as we all are, we're not always proud of our minds. But I did feel that compared to my sister, compared to my brother, I felt like my mind was I was a bit more emotional. And I was enough to give myself suffering. I didn't need anybody. Complete package. I would convert anything into a problem for myself and suffer. So my mind was not my best strength. But then this knowledge helped. And I have to say, if there is the best strength in me, is my mind today. So you can change your mind from being your enemy to your friend, gently. So we're going to use the Yoga Sutras now to go into what are the 5 main reasons why our mind becomes foggy, why it obscures the light of the self. Then we will do a short feedback session, and then we will continue or stand up and do some breathing work. So we'll see. The first, these are called kleshas or obstacles. The first one is avidya. Vidya means the mind that has knowledge of our true nature, exposure to it, knowledge of it, or even a living remembrance of it, right? Exposure is a great way to begin. But avidya is when we are very concretely stuffed with material ideas. Have you met people, really good people, who are suffering, but they only want some material solutions for their life, right? They would never read a book you gave them. They would never come to a lecture like this one, right? So we can say their mind is full of avidya. Vidya is a term in Sanskrit which means that which liberates you, the knowledge that liberates you. But avidya is the opposite, that which binds you. So I have some people, I meet them because I know them or because they are in the community, and they will come to me and they'll say, Shunya ji, I was remembering you so much. Why? Because, I want to buy a house in a better neighborhood. And I'm just praying to you, that my husband's income increases so I can buy a house in Palo Alto. It's like they use me as an instrument to buy a house in Palo Alto. They have access to me, but they are totally misusing me. Then, especially when I go to India, there are a group of people waiting with letters. My son needs admission in MBA college in Ahmedabad. Please bless him. Why should I bless your son to have MBA? My son didn't do MBA. So it's a non-understanding. Using spirituality to fix your needs, fix your problems. So this is avidya. Spiritual avidya, material avidya. So first of all, it blocks you from your true nature. Even if you tell someone, look, you're Atma. Yes, yes, I am Atma, but yes, yes. But the problem is, and they will move on. They'll talk about the problem. Second is asmita. It means ASMITA. Asmita means because of this material conditioning, we refuse to understand anything. We are not open to any other tradition. We turn up our noses. We don't want to learn from, the teachers here. We're not here to learn from each other. We just want to follow our version of reality, and we definitely want to think of this body as I. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, I will come to your class once my blood pressure problem is taken care of. So what is there for blood pressure problem and spiritual journey? But I hear these things. So it's a reality. Have you met people who are very materially dense? So they think of their body and they think of their situation like that. Then what happens is once you're concrete in your body and thinking that's your only thing, something starts happening in the mind. One is called raga, R-A-G-A. And raga means we start getting attracted to things we think will complete us. If I can only have that man in my life, or that person, or that car, or that job, then I'll be complete. And then I will go on the weekends to study with Shunyaji. There's a whole plan. So this is but first I want that. This is raga. And raga is not ordinary liking, it kind of wakes you up at night. You're mapping for it, you're visioning for it, you're breathing for it, you're manifesting it. It's a lot. And modern spirituality often supports that kind of panting and grasping for material things, raga, which means material bodies too. And then dvesha. Dvesha is the opposite, D-V-E-S-H-A, dvesha. D-V-E-S-H-A. Dvesha means the opposite. There are some things you don't like. I wish this situation was not in my life. I wish this war was not happening. I wish this weather was not happening. What to do? These things are happening. It's part of the spiritual setup. Do you see that? Yeah. They're out of your control. Okay. And the final word, I can spell it out because some of you are writing it, but it's a long one. It means abhinivesha, A-B-H-I, abhi, N-I-Ni, abhinivesha, V-E-S-H-A, abhinivesha. It means you start clutching on to your bodily survival. Like you want mental things to go a certain way and you want physical things to go a certain way, and you're very afraid of death. A lot of people who believe they are Atma are not afraid of death. Really. Really. It actually happens. At least in our tradition, Vedic tradition. Because we know we are Atma, we're changing clothes, big deal. I'm very excited about changing my clothes. So they develop a deep fear of any kind of losses and any kind of death, and they're all the time praying, and they have talismans and charms and all that to keep their life perfectly unchanged. Such a delusion. And these people are unteachable to some extent. We become, but even these people, when they're exposed to the knowledge of Atma, if they read good books, if they are exposed to people like you, if they come across more such light, if they meet Joseph, who is so inspiring, if they meet people like Ravi, and so many beautiful teachers, we are all doing that work of taking these materially stuck, paralyzed, unhappy, miserable, terrified bodies and saying, there, your Atma, there. That's what we are doing in different ways. That is what the Mahatmas are telling us. When I heard he says, that's what it meant. That we are meant for bigger things, not just for where we become collapsed. Do you see? But that's what we're doing. And so for us, that Lion King story, it's actually a Vedanta story. In Vedanta, for thousands of years, we've been told this story of this lion forgetting that this lion cub forgetting that it's a lion. And then we have something more in this. We have this wandering lion who comes through this community of jackals where this lion cub was living. And it's actually a lion wandering through. And that lion looks at that cub and says, wait, I don't think you belong here. No, I belong here. He spoke like a jackal, really high-pitched and all that, because he had perfected it, And then he takes him to the river to say, look, you and I look the same. And he showed the river on a perfect moonlight to see his true face. And we see the true face in the Vedas to see who we really are, which is Atma. So this is a Vedantic story. It's a parable in our tradition. And so the wandering lion was the guru. And then the guru moved on. Because in our tradition, gurus don't just sit down and say, now worship me. It's not like that. The modern guru would come, make a little seat and say, worship me. But this guru moved on. It's like, okay, I'm going to go wake some more other people up. In the meantime, let me tell you, you're not a jiva, you're Atma. That's the story. And that river represents the river of perennial wisdom that is flowing. And the moon, the light, represents the light of God, the light of consciousness. So it's really beautiful, that parable. That is what we are trying to do. So, due to avidya, so what is the opposite of avidya is vidya, knowledge, which we gain through reading masters, listening to masters, reading books. submitting to traditions again and again to find out the kernel of truth. One of the reasons I was very excited to hear Rabbi Joseph was because why do I keep?
I know that's one of my questions.
Maybe in past life I knew you as Joseph. I've called him Joseph in private too, so this is a thing going on here. So is Joseph a cool character?
Great character.
Oh, there. We're good. Who cares about the names? That's the story. One of the things that really genuinely excited me about Matthew was he brings this ancient tradition in its wholeness and then presents it to us where we are, right? Did you notice that? What that does is, and that's a responsibility for us teachers. I also try to do that. I try to simplify it. I hope I'm able to do justice to it. Give you a peek of the tradition, never dilute the tradition or play with it or dismiss it. And nor do we need to leave it behind to give you the light. We can bring the ancient tradition, as he was doing, for example, and yet inspire and uplift you. So it's a two-way process. The teachers, the acharyas, he's an acharya of his tradition. Acharya is not my name, by the way. Acharya is a title, like you have a rabbi. So an acharya is a Sanskrit title for a master, a teacher, a lineage holder. And so it is our role to make it more accessible, and it is your role to assimilate it and then take it into deeper work and to then continue this journey in some form that you can, right? This way we'll be able to be more free, have more vidya rather than avidya, where we are also concrete. Also to have more vidya, stop having so much expectations from people who are asleep in your life. If they can make you a cup of tea, that's good to go. But don't expect more. Don't expect to have those riveting conversations and those special soulful support from them. At the most, they're there and they deserve your compassion. So don't lose your equilibrium because of others, is what I would say. In terms of mistaking your body every day, the practice is, I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am Atma. It's a real practice. It is a real practice. Thanking the body doesn't mean negating the body. Thanking the body, I have this body, I have this mind as instruments, but I am Atma, and I'm much more powerful than my mind would have me believe. And that way, you're slowly able to inch in more of your Atmic identity more than your worldly identity. How is that? Good? Okay. Then the likes and dislikes, I want this and I don't want that. Let's calm that down. Let's not sweat so much in this samsara. You know, it's called jwaraha, vigata jwaraha, like dramatic fever. I also, in my own practice, I can tell you, I also have some preferences. Oh, yeah, I would like it if my son got married now. It's about time. Sure. I mean, he has a girlfriend for a long time. It'd be nice. But I'm not going to sweat over it. It's his life. It's the great Atma adventuring as my son. Whether he marries once, 10 times, never, ultimately, it's his business, right? It's what Atma wants. So you can have a small preference, but you can't sweat on it. You have to really relax, really relax. So that's one thing. And similarly, your dislikes. So sometimes we have a dislike for situations which are out of our control, then we just accept it if that's the divine way. So I'm going to stop here, and I think you all know the chin mudra here. This is also known as Jnana mudra. We're going to put it So it's not tightly held, it's just gentle touch. These three fingers join up, and we'll put them on our thigh, and we'll do something. Close your eyes. When you're in Chin Mudra, you're opened up to the divine allness, and it is an open experience. So you're receiving guidance from subtle elements within the Atma field. So if anything, you are a field of consciousness more than a singular point of consciousness. And when we are in this mudra, we are connecting immediately to that greater field. You will notice an alleviation of your samsaric thoughts. Your breath will naturally regulate. This is also called the wisdom lock. Just this finger gestures change the quality of awareness. Your mind is no longer able to run around in circles that much. Now watch me flip it over. Flip it over, bring it down. You will immediately notice that consciousness is more heart-centered, more inward, and this is the way to calm your emotions. Flip it back out, you will notice an expansiveness. Crown chakra gets more involved. Flip it back down, heart chakra. But expansive both places. This is great when you're trying to still your emotions, be an observer, do self-inquiry, be in a loving place with yourself. Let's flip it back up again. Be expansive, participating in the Atmic field, sending out vibrations of love and goodness. Just doing this makes you more Atmic. This intentional mudra. Mudra comes from the root word mudha, which means happiness, joy. It is connected to the Ananda field, joy field within you. All these mudras instantly release joy, remove stress, connect you to Atma. Beautiful. Come back. Let's rub our hands, develop some Shakti here, and then bless ourselves. Oh, my poor Jiva. There. We got you. We got you. There. Ooh, how tiring it is to be away from our essence, and what a relief to come back. Come back. Now we clap. We clap for our own journey, and we clap to change the energy. And this is a good time now for you to talk to me. Tell me how you're feeling. I would love to get some feedback and how you're feeling, my dear.
I was having physical symptoms, and I said, enough, calm down. And they did. Thank you.
I have a question about an experience of being in that place of the waves in the jiva, and then going into the ocean and connecting with a silent place. And there's something that we can come back with, maybe like a pearl or something like that. Yes, there's this moment of connection and stillness, but there's also insight that can come. And I'm wondering if there's a name for that, or if this aligns with any principle from the Vedas.
I'm actually coming to it. So you're right there. You're right ahead of us. But it's not just to go into the ocean and be the ocean. We still have to come back and live in this body, mind, time, space dimension. And so we're going to bring back that light. Because that knowledge that you are the ocean, not the wave, is pretty much enough to then frolic about more. Kind of become more audacious, Yeah.
I was contemplating on the waves, and some are crashing, some are frothy, some are rolling, but they're really just the ocean. And so the outer personality, the outer self, is the wave that could be bubbly or frothy, but eventually it's just water in ocean.
Yes. Very true.
Really, mostly I just felt still and serene.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, same here. Peaceful, level of freedom, like that insistence of the remembrance we are Atma.
Yeah. And, that stillness and serenity that you're experiencing, it may be, to remember that this is your deep ground, like this is the ground of your being, is really interesting, right? Isn't it? That you have all that. And let me ask you, like with that freedom, there is it's freedom, but it's not the dizzying freedom of the mind. Yay. It's an expansive freedom from the mind. It's a freedom from the mind. Yeah. Yeah. And in that stillness that you experienced, that's the home of creativity, of goodness, of light. So if we can meditate and get there, but if we know it, this is the yoga of knowledge, the Jnana Yoga, if you know it, that I'm Atma, like I'm having fun and frolic all the time, but I'm still and peaceful at the same time. It's amazing. But it's two things, because you just that never goes away, that dimension. It's amazing.
A lot of the exercises that you led us through were very familiar, and it was a nice reminder to release the guilt of what is it you call it? The guilt of the actions or behaviors or feelings or experiences that you may have been consumed by. And so the freedom comes from being reminded that we are Atma and that it's there always. So thank you.
Yeah. No, I need to talk about this guilt, shall we?
Yes.
The jiva is a sad little creature. It deserves our compassion. And we can't really fix it. You can't tell the wave to sort itself out. The wave's going to crash land and do funny things. But the more Atma comes in, the wave feels held and parented. And when we are pure jiva, we pick up habits, addictions, shadows along the way. And there's only so much, I write about it in my book, like there is only so much work we want to do on the jiva. That's what I would say. I'm not saying we have to bypass it, but I'm just saying in this specific work, you want to claim your perfect identity from within you. You want the light within you. Would you agree, Matthew? That some light of the divine, I'm asking your input here.
I was just waiting for a mic.
Yeah. Like you can only like fix and damage control so much, and then you bring in something. Tell me about that.
I think that both elements of that are important.
Yeah.
Everyone's journey is going to be different, but my experience and what I've learned says that there is a time and place for healing the ego. And partly that comes from letting light in, as you're saying, to parent it. That we could forever try and refine our egos just as they are with our egos. And that would be to some degree productive, but it would also a little bit be spinning in circles. And at the same time, we could try to simply transcend it and tune into the light. And I also think that wouldn't be quite complete or whole. I think there's an interaction there between both elements. That's how I would approach that.
And the interaction, I feel, is parenting, soothing, loving, not neglecting, and not letting it rot in guilt, because it can't do it. It can't do it all alone. It needs your light, whatever you choose to call it. And then your first work is to heal that torn part of you, which has been blamed or judged, or you've criticized yourself. Right? Isis, would you like to share something? I value your voice in this piece about,
Yes, I have been watching your methods of dealing with things that we all deal with. We all somehow strive to approach our higher energies and somehow get our lower energies illuminated by these higher
yes.
energies. And maybe the vocabulary that you use is a little bit different from the vocabulary that I use, but it's pretty much the same. It's like a task that we have to do with ourselves. We are the lab of this experiment of really striving for something higher.
Thank you. Absolutely. The Vedas say beautifully, they say, Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahuda Vadanti, there is but one truth, but the pundits of different tradition have a different name for it. Yeah. But I have to clarify one thing, that if we only wander about in the woods of the material body and mind and try and take it somewhere, we will hit some walls. To bring in the higher light, call it Atma, call it light, call it God, but it is essential. Yeah? In the Vedanta tradition, because that is your real identity. And if you already have an unbreakable, resilient identity, we're talking something real here. This is unparalleled. It doesn't require healing, it is healed already within you. So this takes a little stretch here. But when I was feeling really broken, it takes a little leap to understand that, wait, there is something unbreakable within me, and I have a choice to shift. And gradually, I feel more and more unbreakable, generally. Not artificial, but more resilient. Yeah? Okay. All right. So now I'm going to chant you some verses from our tradition by Shankaracharya. And this is known as the Nirvana Shatakam. It's an ancient verse. And it really are 6 verses. And these 6 verses help us decondition our thinking. And then after this chanting, I will read. And then we will take a break. Okay? So this is a very rightly timed verse after all this discussion. If I just chanted it 1 hour or 2 hours earlier, it would have been meaningless. But now that we've had these discussions, these contemplations, they can have an effect upon you. Om Mano Buddha Hankar Chittani Naham Na cha shutra jivhe, na cha ghrana netre, na cha vyoma bhumir, na tejo na vayu, chidananda rupam, shivoham, shivoham. I am not the mind, the intellect, the ego or the memory. I am not the ears, the tongue, the nose or the eyes. I am not space, earth, fire, water or wind. I am pure consciousness and bliss. I am Shiva. I am that. This verse is clearing away for you false identifications or temporary identifications with the body, mind, and thinking apparatus, transcending them to their pure reality, Atma, the pure awareness. Om. Na cha prana sanyao na vai panchavayu na va sapta dhatu na va panchakoshaha na vakpani padau na chopastapayu chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. I am not the breath, nor the 5 vital airs. I am not the 7 body tissues, nor the 5 sheaths. I am not the organs of speech, of grasping, movement, excretion, or procreation. I am pure consciousness and bliss. I am Shiva. I am that. Om. Na me dvesha ragau, na me lobha moha, madho neva neva, matsarya bhavaha, na dharmo na chartho, na kamo na mokshaha, chidananda rupa, shivoham shivoham. I have no hatred nor attachment, no greed nor delusion. I am beyond pride and jealousy. I am not even bound by the goals of dharma, artha, kama, or moksha. At this level, goals also don't matter. I am pure consciousness and bliss. I am Shiva. I am that. Om. Na punyam na papam, na saukhyam na dukkham, na mantro na tirtham, na veda na yagya. Aham bhojanam neva bhojyam na bhokta, chidananda rupa, shivoham shivoham. I am not good deeds or bad deeds, nor pleasure nor pain. I am not mantra, pilgrimage, scripture, or sacrifice. At this stage, I am beyond the food, deep act of eating, nor the eater. I am pure consciousness and bliss. I am Shiva. I am that. Na mrityur na shanka na me jati bhedah pita neva me neva mata na janma na bandhur na mitram gurur neva shishya chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. There is no death or fear for me of death. I have no creed nor race. No father, no mother, no birth have I. At this stage, I have no relative, no friend, no teacher, no student. I am pure consciousness and bliss. I am Atma, I am Shiva, I am that. Aham nirvikalpo nirakara rupo vibhutva cha sarvat sarvendriyanam na cha sangata neva muktir nameya chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. As Atma, I am beyond all thoughts and beyond all form. I exist everywhere and pervade all the senses and all the bodies and all the minds. I am beyond attachment, beyond liberation, even as spoken by the ordinary mind, beyond measurement, limitless. I am pure consciousness and bliss. I am Shiva. I am Shiva. I am Shiva. This is your true essence, spoken in the 8th century by the great master Shankaracharya, a reminder of your true essence. Spoken in the I format by the Jiva of Shankaracharya, announcing to the world that I am Atma, I am Shiva. Shiva is not just a Hindu god, but Shiva is another term for Atma. Welcome back. Shankaracharya lived for all of 32 years, and in the process he wrote the most amazing commentaries on 10 Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, the Brahma Sutras, and all of 32 years. And he organized the Vedic tradition, Advaita tradition, into 4 groups. And then at 32, he was wandering in the Himalayas with his 4 students. And then at some point, he woke up from meditation, chanted these words, and disappeared into the Himalayas. So to such a great teacher, we bow. He is a direct ancestor in my lineage, and I take a lot of inspiration from him. All Advaita, all Vedanta students do. So chanting such great verse takes us there. This is known as Nirvana Shatakam, Nirvana. You can look it up and read it and make it a part of your library. I think you can find it on Spotify, people chanting this. It's very beautiful. Nirvana Shatakam. Shatakam means 6 verses. Nirvana means to transcend. You're a younger body here, I'm sure, and also, what is your experience of these teachings?
I think it's very wise, and I think, okay, can you hear me well? Okay. So I'm very happy that you gave me a reminder that I am not the body, that I am not the mind, because in this day and age, we're expected to perform a lot. We're expected to be very grounded, very material. And I feel like a lot of us forget where we actually come from. And this is just a great exercise. And I just want to it would help to be more connected to the Atma. And I'm very grateful for your wisdom. And I'm very grateful that I was able to be reminded about the Atma.
Yeah. So often in our Vedic tradition, these teachings are imparted at age 9. Because we do not think that this is the body is 9-year-old. Atma is very ancient. So we start telling at age 9. I also began my schooling at 9 with my guru. And we are given those things. Maybe we don't understand the words so much, and it is spoken simply, but it is given to us. So at whatever age we get body, it doesn't matter. Sometimes we get this teaching just before death. That is also considered very auspicious. If in the lifetime we are reminded of the Atma and we hear from the Upanishads, it is considered auspicious because now the Atma knows. It has come into the knowingness. And so it is an indication that you will have full remembrance in a matter of time. It's not will you or will you not, it's a matter of when. And the more we expose ourselves to these teachings, the more certain. It's like amnesia. We just get reminded. And each of you felt the stillness and the peace and the beauty and the joy and the freedom from within. Because that's why the entire Vedic tradition is called Shruti, spoken tradition. Shruti means sound, spoken. Because when it enters your ear, your call, you wake up. Like you wake up and you hear these words, and each one of you feels called, because we're calling the ocean through you. We're calling the ocean through you. It's a great depth that rises within you.